Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hey Sister Girl. My name is Robyn Herron, and I am your carnivorous grandma. And this is Hey Sister Girl. Tonight, we are asking a controversial question. Is carnivore for Black people? Why are we still asking this question? That question literally stopped me in my tracks recently. It was a few months ago when I saw this video come out asking this question by the carnivore cutie, Pumi. I don't know if you guys know her. And it really has been just going through my mind ever since I saw her video asking this question. And this was running across my For You page, and I'm like, why are we asking this? Um, so you might tonight be saying, "Why is she even asking this question?" And my first reaction is, of course, yes, it is. Absolutely, 100%. You may be asking yourself, why in the world do we have to make eating about race? And I literally had to ask myself that question too. But honestly, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this question is relevant, right? Not only to African Americans, but literally to all cultures, honestly. And many of us, many cultures have traditions that are steeped in food, comfort, right? The longer I sat with this question, the more I felt like I needed to bring this question to the community. Honestly, if I'm truthful, this question is why I'm here doing what I'm doing, honestly, right? And if you watch Hey Sister Girl, if you watch Carnivorous Grandma Speaks, you know that when I looked around out here in these carnivore streets, I could not find anybody who looked like me that was talking about carnivore and eating a primarily meat based way of eating and changing their health trajectory utilizing food, right? So the more I thought about this question, the more I thought I really need to bring this question here and talk about it. The issue isn't whether carnivore is for Black people. The question is why we still need to ask this question. Why do we still feel the need to ask this question? And there are many reasons for that, honestly, and we're going to talk about it tonight because eating meat has literally become a cultural debate. When I talk to people in my community about carnivore, I mean, literally, you can see the shutters going over their eyes. You can see the walls coming up. You can see they're like, that's not for me. Okay. So we definitely don't want to assign this amazing healing protocol to any single race, right? We want it to be for everybody. And so that's why my thumbnail tonight says carnivore for all. Carnivore is for everybody. And the other question that I'm asking myself is why have we been taught to fear the foods that humans have eaten for thousands of years while embracing foods that barely existed 100 years ago? We're just cool with it. We cool with them Takis and Oreo cookies. We are cool with the seed oil. We're cool with all this stuff that is so new to us, while the single ingredient foods that we have been eating for millennium are actually, being demonized, right? And so I really want to talk about this tonight. SKZ, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Um, and so, why have so many Black Americans been encouraged toward veganism, vegetarianism, alkaline diets, plant-based approaches, and things like blood type diets and colonics? We're being geared toward all of that stuff, but we're being told that meat is dangerous for us, right? So tonight's conversation is not about attacking anyone or criticizing anyone's culture. It's about health, history, sugar, and whether we've been blaming the wrong foods for our issues. Okay. And so tonight I want to talk about that. This week I was having a conversation because I've been doing these 7-day challenges with my coaching group. 7-day sugar-free challenges. CG Health Coaching has been offering this all throughout the month of June. We're not charging anybody anything to just come in and try being sugar-free for a week and see what happens within your body. But I was having a conversation this week, and somebody was telling me I just can't even consider that because I have to have veggies and I have to have fruit. And I was thinking, oh man, it's addiction. It's not that your body requires it, but mentally you require it, right? So tonight we want to talk about culture because food is not just food. Let me know where you are watching from down in the comments. I also want to say that my friend G, she's out still on cruise. She's taking a little hiatus. So we're just going to keep on going, y'all. We're going to keep talking about these topics and making sure that you get this information. Food is not just food, right? Food equals family. It equals love. It has memories tied to it. It shaped us through these gatherings, that we have had throughout our lives. So for me, growing up with soul food favorites, right? Sunday dinners after church, the big family dinner where everybody was around the table, right? Family reunions. Oh man, I remember some great family reunions. I remember my grandfather used to have this big ice cream churn and he would churn out ice cream for us at the family reunion when I was a kid. And the holiday table. And if we're honest, some of our greatest memories happened around those tables, right? So the men and women that cooked for us, they loved us and they fed us food with love in it, right? And so, I think about my grandmothers. Let me tell you this story about my grandmother on my dad's side. My grandmother, I lived next door to her for a few years, and every day after school, I would go there and she would make me homemade stovetop macaroni and cheese. The best macaroni and cheese I have ever had with this pimento cheese. Oh my gosh, it was so good. But I have so many fond memories of that. She used cremette macaroni noodles and she used this pimento cheese and it was absolutely delicious. So I have just some fond memories tied to that. And even when I walk through the grocery store, when by chance I go through the aisles and I see that green box of cremette macaroni, I think about my grandmother and it brings back good memories for me. My grandmother loved me and she fed me in the way that she knew how. She fed the best way. You think about things like, greens and cornbread, skip that hoe cakes. That was something that they cooked it actually on a literal hoe in a fire. And so, those things are traditional, right? And so that the food was the best they knew how to do. So I'm not criticizing what your grandmother fed you. I'm not criticizing what your mother fed you, right? I'm a grandmother myself and I have to make choices about what am I going to do for my grandkids. And it's tough. It really, really is. Because when you know better, do you go better? When are you going to do better because you know better? It's tough sometimes, right? So, and I'm definitely not criticizing our culture because we know that many cultures are steeped in food tradition. I think about sometimes my daughter talks about she's a PA and she works with a lot of people from different cultures and she talks about particularly in the Hispanic community how they eat a lot of tortillas and they eat a lot of rice, right? It is their food culture. They eat a lot of beans and stuff like that. So it's food culture. And so I'm definitely not criticizing culture. Um, the cultures have the food history, right? And I think we have to be willing to ask a very difficult question. And I thought about this question as I was talking to my family member this week who was telling me I have to have vegetables and fruits, right? So, can something be culturally important and still not help us heal our bodies, right? So, those fruits and vegetables are literally causing your problem. And we're not willing to hear that because, like I said, when I start talking about, I'm talking more about elimination of sugar these days and less about carnivore. Although we know that if you're going to literally eliminate sugar, you're going to go all the way to a primarily meat-based way of eating, right? Because even fruits and vegetables have a lot of sugar, especially those starchy. We think about potatoes and corn and all of those things. They're super starchy and they're just full of sugar and starch, right? So the food is causing the problem, but we're not willing to give it up, because I grew up eating all of these plants. And I did too. I grew up eating plants. I always never really liked them that much, but I didn't realize the big problem that they were causing for me. So, can it be culturally important and still not help us heal? I think the answer to that is yes, it can be culturally important and not help us to heal. And in fact, be causing a myriad of health problems. Foods that connect us emotionally may not always be the foods that serve us physically, right? And so many of the foods that are causing the problems today aren't even our traditions. I want you to think about this. So we got all these traditions. I talked about the macaroni and cheese. That was my jam. My grandmother, she used to make it for me all the time. Now I can't even have cheese. It's so sad. But a lot of the foods that are causing this health issue for us are not even like traditional foods, like sodas and snack foods. I think about when I was on keto and they came out with all these keto treats and literally derailed everybody that was actually on keto because it was so, so, so addictive. What about fast food? The convenience factor and other processed products, not even foods. We're going to just call them what they are, which is products. Those are not your heritage. They're not, because they haven't even been around for barely 100 years. Have we been eating like this? These are literally modern foods. And, we don't need to confuse our culture with these convenience products, right? Or our traditions with our habits. Just because you feel like you need fruits and vegetables does not mean that from a physicality, from a biological perspective, that you do need them, right? So our grandparents worked harder than us. They was out there working. I mean, physical labor, right? They moved more than we do in general. Well, I'm just overgeneralizing, right? They ate less sugar and they consumed way fewer less processed foods than we do today. So the food culture was completely different for my grandmother. I think about my grandmother sometime. My mom's mom, who ended up with type 2 diabetes in her old age. Like she was probably 70 or 80 when she became diagnosed with diabetes, and was a very thin person, but she ate a lot of crackers and she ate stuff like crackers and cornbread mixed with buttermilk. Ugh. So gross, but she did. I mean, she enjoyed that, right? And so we definitely don't want to reject our culture. We know that we love our people, right? But we do want to reclaim our health, and that is within your power to do, okay? So, who decided what black people should eat? Who was the decision maker on that? Because what I've noticed is that we've been taught that eating less meat is somehow healthier. And in fact, In my family, I see this, right? I'm telling people, eat more meat, eat more meat. I don't care what you're doing. You need to eat more meat. You need to go ahead and have some of that animal fat. But what we have been taught and told is that red meat is dangerous. So you really should only eat the size of the palm of your hand, right? You should only eat red meat the size of the palm of your hand. Red meat, fat is dangerous. I want you to think about the butter and margarine dilemma. Who's still out here using country crock? What is that anyway? It's not real food. It's not even real food, right? It's just toxic seed oils, right? And people are still using that and they're calling it butter. I had somebody talking about ham hocks and chitlins. You better go ahead and talk about it. I love me some ham hocks and some chitlins, but I got to clean them and cook them myself. That's the only problem with that. Yeah, the butter and margarine dilemma. Like, who told us that eating butter, eating that country crock or parquet or blue bonnet, everything's better with blue bonnet on it? Do you guys remember that? Everything's better with blue bonnet on it. Yeah. Not so. Not so. We should just go on back to eating Old Faithful butter. But they taught us that fat is dangerous and it's going to clog your arteries and it's going to, it's going to make you fat. And it's just actually the opposite of that. So they taught us that animal foods are dangerous and they're going to give you bad heart attack. They're going to give you a stroke. Oh, and by the way, they're going to sit in your gut and rot and so on and so forth. Literally demonizing the animal foods that are really such a healing protocol, right? So, yep, Jessica says eat real butter and grass-fed meat. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so over the years, these health movements became especially influential in African American communities. I'm telling y'all, I didn't see my dad was a butter guy. He always had butter, but we ate butter on toast and it was really good. I have to remember that fondly, you know. He always made eggs with butter. He ate bacon. That was kind of how my dad was raised. But on my mom's side, we had some blue bonnet and some, country crock. Not really. We didn't really do country crock, but we did parquet, the margarine. And so these health movements have really influenced us to eat the wrong foods, to eat not natural foods, right? And so a lot of people embrace these vegetarian, vegan, alkaline detoxes. I mean, have you ever heard of the colonic? Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. So blood type diets, and these cleanses and all those kinds of things, a smoothie cleanse, juicing, etc. Right? I want to mention this guy, Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi, right? So whether you agree with him or not, he did have a huge impact on the African American and Black people health conversations. Tremendous. Tremendous. Oh, Jessica says, I did a colonic cleanse and I felt better. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Absolutely. Many people found hope through through his teachings, right? People became interested in natural healing because of him. He triggered that thought that, hey, something might be wrong here with this food, right? So people began to question conventional medicine because of him. And I do honestly understand why, because if you think about what's happening around us, even if you just look around and see what's happening with people's health, you know that we need to challenge. We need to think differently. We need to do something different. Something is wrong here because we have these epidemics going on, obesity and chronic disease. So we know that something is wrong, but the question is, what do we do about it, right? So, we get frustrated with the healthcare system. I mean, literally, that we're putting a band-aid over all kinds of illnesses, and we're masking our symptoms. I think about this with my eczema because I went to the doctor. I went multiple doctors, right? And I talked to them and said, I think food is doing something. I think the food is doing something. Like when I eat this, I'm having sort of a reaction. And they're like, it's not the food. It's not the food. Take these creams, pills, and potions. Take these injections. Take a course of steroids, and you're going to feel better. And they put a band aid over what was going on with me. And for 30 years or more, I used one single cream on my face every day. I used the strongest medication I could possibly get I mean, not over the counter, but through a prescription on my hands because my eczema would not go away, right? So, yeah, we started looking elsewhere. Like, where can we find some relief for all of this illness? And this guy, Dr. Sebi, taught that disease develops because the body becomes acidic and is filled with mucus. What I will say is, if I drink some milk right now, I'm going to be filled with mucus. If I have some cheese right now, I'll be filled with mucus, right? So I'm not sure that it has anything to do with being acidic. But he believed that the body should remain alkaline and eating alkaline foods could support healing. Hey, Rick, so glad that you're here. Welcome from Miami. I'm happy they're here. His recommendations often included a lot of duck food, Rick. They included a lot of duck food. So, natural plant foods such as leafy greens, fruits, herbs, sea moss, nuts, seeds, and vegetables. And generally discouraged animal foods such as dairy, eggs, and he also discouraged sugar and processed foods. So that's the key, I believe, right? People following this approach felt better. They reported feeling better. They reported healing. They reported a lot of, health and healing, right? Coming out of this. And I don't think it's very surprising that that would help you eliminating sugar, which is probably our biggest problem, processed foods with all those ingredients, processed products that are not even food. It's just a big old list of chemicals. Eliminating that, right? And then literally going back to eating single ingredient, back to natural type of foods. Okay. So it's not surprising that people started to feel better. They remove all that refined flour, they remove the fast food and other highly processed products. So, is it the alkaline nature of the diet, right? Or is it the removal of all of those highly processed foods and switch to single ingredient foods that makes a difference, right? Our bodies literally tightly regulate our pH. So our lungs and kidneys work constantly to maintain balance. And so for me personally, my healing began when I removed sugar. And when I say removed sugar, I'm talking about even plant sugars. Because just a quick reminder that carbohydrate equals sugar, and all plants have carbohydrates. Even I use the example of the green beans all the time because it's a very low carbohydrate meal. It's a very low carbohydrate food. It has 6 carbs for a half cup serving. 6, okay? So, that's pretty low, but if you think about the fact that your body can only tolerate 4 additional carbohydrates in a day, well, you're already over your allotted you're already over just by eating 1 serving of green beans without eating anything else, okay? So, I don't think necessarily it is alkaline diet. I think it is a return to single ingredient foods, okay? So, we don't have a steak epidemic. We don't have an epidemic of too much steak or too much ribeye. We don't have an epidemic of too much butter, right? Although they tried to tell us that we were eating too much butter and it was causing all these heart problems and stuff. But what we do have is this epidemic of all manner of diseases, chronic disease, including diabetes. We got insulin resistance, hypertension. We got non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Literally, people with cirrhosis of the liver who've never drank alcohol. And it's all due to the fact that they're having too much sugar. That is a huge problem, don't you think? So we have all these chronic diseases running rampant. And these problems affect all Americans and then people worldwide, okay? The mostly we partake of a standard American or standard Western diet. You'll see these disease states all over the world, you know? Nobody's escaping. Nobody's escaping because we are doing something that is causing this problem. We're having way, way, way too much sugar, okay? And ultra processed food. 100 years ago, we didn't even have this stuff, right? If you wanted some cookies, you was going to get you some flour from the market, get you some eggs, butter. You were going to get some sugar from the market, and you would make that yourself at home, right? But now we have all these processed foods. It's an explosion. We got snack foods. We got, just so much overconsumption. How many of us have sat down and ate a whole bag of Doritos? I'm talking about a family size bag. I know that was me. It was so crunchy. I just kept on eating it and eating it. And what happens? Our health just continues on the decline. So we're blaming the wrong foods. We're blaming meat for what sugar did. We're blaming butter for what sugar did, right? So why do we recommend a primarily meat-based approach? I'll tell you what I believe. Y'all know I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical practitioner, but I am a health coach, and I see this all the time. I believe that sugar elimination is one of the most powerful healing interventions available. Elimination of sugar. Yeah. That seems, for people who eat a lot of sugar, it seems very difficult. And it can be, because you're going to have crazy. Who said there's Doritos are nasty? You're right, Rick. It's some duck food. It's not even food, actually. But yeah, I used to jam on them. I used to jam, and Fritos, Cheetos, all those things. All that duck food was what I was doing, Rick. Hey, Charlie, I didn't even see you there. The protein Doritos. Come on now. And now they have ones that are bare. Have you guys seen that in the store? It's still a ingredient list as long as your arm, but they took out the yellow dye. Woo! So much better. So much better. Yeah, it's a huge problem. So, elimination of sugar. And we talk about reduction, and some of the people who come into my coaching practice do want to try reduction. But for me, who is a carb addict, the only cure for addiction is elimination, abstinence, keeping away from it completely. So I believe that elimination of sugar is one of the most powerful healing interventions available. I have seen people on vegan get really, really sick because they needed protein. They needed animal protein, and they got really sick. Like, I don't know, I just have seen that. Somebody that's on a vegan diet for many, many years getting super sick because they need animal protein. Sugar has proliferated, which I think we're well aware of since 100 years ago. Sugar has proliferated through everything. You think about all of the low-fat foods, everything that they took the fat out of, they added sugar, corn syrup. They added something to make it taste good because fat is delicious. Fat makes things taste good. So if you take the fat out, you got to put something in there to make it taste like something. And what they added was sugar, right? So it's in all of the drinks, it's in the bread. Have you guys noticed? I don't know if you noticed this. See, I got these kids in here, so sometimes I have some bread in this house. Did y'all notice that the bread don't spoil? What kind of bread is that? What is that? It's not real food. It's not real food. It's got so many preservatives in it, and I think about what is that doing in the inside of the body, right? Snacks, breads, sauces. If you look on the label of almost all of your salad dressing, it's the first ingredient is going to be something like canola oil or soybean oil. Okay? That's toxic. It's literally toxic. So, because these people still eat salads, I try to get an avocado oil based salad dressing for them. This stuff is expensive too. Like, if you need to eat a salad, first of all, you got to eat the salad up before it goes bad. Secondly, the dressing that you need to buy, or I mean, I guess you can make your dressing at home. That's probably a thing that you could do. Make it at home. That's a good idea. So we don't even realize that these foods are full of sugar. They don't taste sweet necessarily, but they're very, very full of sugar. And so, for many people, one of the simplest ways to eliminate sugar from your way of eating is through a primarily meat based way of eating. Yes, I'm talking about carnivore. Yes, because carnivore is really truly the only sugar free way of eating. Animal foods provide protein, healthy fats, they make you full. Eat enough. Make sure you're eating plenty, but you'll learn what your satiety is. Maybe you have forgotten what it feels like to be full. I know that I did so much dieting. I was always on a diet. And so I always thought like you just need to be just a little bit hungry at all times. You just need to be a little bit hungry because you should only eat about 1,000 calories a day. Calories doesn't even make sense to me anymore, right? So yes, learn how to eat to satiety with animal foods. They provide blood sugar stability. And that satiety that we're talking about being, full, comfortably full, means that you're not going to be like getting the cookie jar every couple of hours because you will not even be thinking about food, which is really a really, really nice thing. So we want to keep those processed foods out and basically go on and eat meat until we're comfortably full. Don't eat if we're not hungry. And that is a really, really it's a powerful, powerful thing. So switching to a primarily animal-based way of eating for me has been a game changer. I mean, that is literally one of my favorite words. It's a game changer. It literally changed the game for me. So I heal my body from the inside out, reducing inflammation and improving anxiety. I mean, y'all, I was so afraid. I was just like afraid of everything. Um, and I didn't want to be fearful, but yet and still I still was. I had all these racing thoughts, right? Eczema, the digestion, and my overall quality of life. Now, some people would think, well, if all I could eat was meat, I wouldn't be happy. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. And I hear people saying I would rather be happy than healthy. And I think that if you could get healthy, you would find that you would much prefer to be healthy. and you can be happy also at the same time. Right. So all of that stuff happened because I removed sugar and built my meals around animal foods. Yeah. So what about our ancestors? So I don't know what y'all thought, but people who act like meat is foreign to our ancestors, it's just not true, right? Yeah. So many traditional cultures have consumed a variety of animal foods, including fish, livestock, game, eggs, animal fats, and broth. Why y'all think they was ganging up together to go and kill a big animal so that they could feed a family, right? And they did also eat plant foods. And some people want to ask me about the Bible and what do I think about what the Bible says about food and eating. And I say this: if you can find some food that is like what they had in Bible times, you go ahead and eat that. I don't think you're going to find it because our food is so different. It's been genetically modified. It has nothing, no resemblance to what we had back in the day, right? And so, I mean, especially the things that you can go and buy off the shelf, particularly. So yeah, animal foods have nourished us throughout human history, right? We don't want to even need to ask the question, is meat part of our heritage? Yes, it is. But we do not need to be fear meat. And that's I'm looking at the people. I'm talking to people about elimination of sugar, talking about eating more meat, and I literally see the walls go up. So, the question is carnivore for Black people? Yep. Yes, it is. Is carnivore for Mexican people? Mm hmm. Oh, yes. Yes, it is. What about Asian people or any other culture? Yes, it is. Is carnivore for white people? Yes. Carnivore for all. Yes, yes, yes. Carnivore for all. Okay? So, yeah, why are we still even asking a question about whether a proper human diet is proper for humans? It's called, I mean, it's called the proper human diet. Charlie is saying a lot of fruits and vegetables in the grocery store are about as natural as golden doodles. Right. You are so right, Charlie. And then Talea says shenanigans on those bear snacks. Yeah, they done tricked us, try to trick us into thinking that just because they took the color out of those Doritos and Fritos and Cheetos, that makes them better. It does not. I bet you they taste the same, right? Yeah. So complete sugar elimination can change lives. It is changing lives. So many people are having their health trajectory changed, being delivered, being healed, being set free from all these chronic illnesses, right? And so, yeah, I don't think that everybody will agree with me, but you should. You should agree with me. You might not have to eat exactly like me. I really do believe that a sugar elimination way of eating, at least for a time, can show you what plants are doing. I did not know for sure what the plants were doing to me until I eliminated them completely and then started trying to bring them back in. And I realized, oh my gosh, did you know that black pepper makes it feel like I have a cold? I get like a stuffy nose whenever I have it. Did you know that if I have some mint, I had mint for just a couple of times. Mint made my anxiety shoot through the roof, right? Did you know that lettuce makes my hands blister? And dairy, like cheese, I love cheese, y'all. Cheese was my jam. I mean, I could not imagine living a cheeseless life. And in fact, I used to say, a cheeseless life is not worth living. But come to find out, cheese was causing a lot of my problem. a lot of my problem. So I just want you to ask yourself, like, what if you've been blaming the wrong food? What if you've been blaming meat for what the sugar did? What if you've been blaming fat for what sugar did? Right? That's probably the case because we've been taught this dogma that fat makes you fat, and it does not. Fat does not make you fat. So stop being afraid of the wrong thing, right? And, the answer here is that healing is for everyone. Healing is for all of us. I have a scripture that I always say, and I know everybody's not a Christian, and that's all right. But I would that you would prosper and be in health even as your soul prospers. I want you to have your health back. It's in your hands to take it back, and not, rely on someone else to make your choices for you, right? So, thank you so much for joining me tonight for this topic. I want to say if this conversation encouraged you, if it challenged you, made you think differently, go ahead and share this episode with somebody that you know needs it. So, you can join our Hey Sister Girl community, ladies. If you're interested, it's on Facebook. Feel free to go over to Facebook and look for Hey Sister Girl and click that join button. We'll be happy to have you as part of our community. I also want to mention that I am a health coach and I do coaching. And if you're interested in learning more about CG health coaching, you can find out about that at cghealthcoach.com. And then finally, I got to talk about Impact because it's right around the corner, just a couple of months away now. So we are going to be having Impact Meetup and Eat Up with Carnivorous Grandma and Friends September 5th. 2026 right here in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So if you are in the Kalamazoo, Michigan or anywhere in the Michiana area, come on out. We have a great lineup for you. I can't wait to see you too, Charlie. We have a great lineup for you. Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Nelson and Nurse Laura will be here, plus a whole host of influencers, your favorite influencers that you guys have been watching on YouTube or on TikTok. They're going to be coming in. We got people literally coming from worldwide to be a part of Impact. And the big deal is that Carrie and Emma are coming. We are going to have a screening of the Healing Humanity documentary. So you want to bring somebody that doesn't know, like, yeah, you might know that carnivore is amazing. You might know that returning to natural eating is amazing and wonderful and a healing protocol. Bring somebody with you that doesn't know about it and let them watch this movie and hear these stories and let their life be changed. Thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight for Hey Sister Girl. Let's see, when am I going to be back? I'll be back on Saturday night with Coach Sherrod Brown for Coach's Corner. Hey, if you are a health coach and you want to be a panelist on our Coach's Corner, please let me know. Reach out to me, let me know. We would love to have you on and talk about whatever topic suits your fancy. All right, you guys, I will see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.